What are the types of earthquakes? Which one is the deadliest? And what type can strike Metro Manila? When most people hear the word earthquake, they imagine the ground shaking violently beneath their feet. But not all earthquakes are the same. Some lift mountains, some generate giant tsunamis, and some can tear directly through major cities. Understanding the different types of earthquakes can help us understand which ones are the most dangerous and why experts fear a future earthquake in Metro Manila. Let's begin. Type 1. Normal fault earthquakes. A normal fault earthquake happens when the Earth's crust is being stretched apart. Imagine pulling a piece of bread from both ends until it cracks. That's essentially what happens underground. These earthquakes can be powerful, but they usually affect a more localized area. Examples can be found in the East African Rift and parts of the western United States. While they can damage buildings and infrastructure, they are generally not the most catastrophic earthquakes on Earth. Type 2. Reverse or thrust fault earthquakes. Now imagine the opposite. Instead of being pulled apart, the Earth's crust is being squeezed together. One block of rock is forced upward over another. These are called reverse or thrust fault earthquakes. They often produce significant vertical ground movement and can trigger massive landslides. A well-known example is the devastating 2015 Nepal earthquake. Because of the intense upward movement, these earthquakes can cause severe destruction across mountainous regions. Type 3. Strike, slip fault earthquakes. This type of earthquake occurs when two blocks of the Earth's crust slide horizontally past each other. Think of rubbing your hands together in opposite directions. The movement is mostly sideways rather than up or down. Examples include the famous San Andreas Fault in California and the West Valley Fault in the Philippines. Strike-slip earthquakes are especially dangerous because they often occur directly beneath populated areas. They produce violent ground shaking capable of collapsing buildings, roads, bridges, and utilities. Type 4. Megathrust or subduction zone earthquakes. These are the giants. The most powerful earthquakes ever recorded belong to this category. They occur when one tectonic plate dives beneath another in a process called subduction. When the plates suddenly slip, enormous amounts of energy are released. Examples include the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami and the 2011 Japan earthquake and tsunami. These earthquakes can exceed magnitude 9 and generate devastating tsunamis capable of crossing entire oceans. And the recent 2026 Sarangani earthquake in the southern Philippines. On June 8, 2026, a powerful magnitude 7.8 earthquake struck offshore west of Masim, Sarangani. According to PHIVOLCS, the earthquake was associated with movement along the Cotabato Trench, a major subduction zone off Mindanao. Tsunami warnings were issued across parts of the Philippines and neighboring countries. What makes this earthquake especially fascinating is what happened afterward. In parts of Sarangani, the coastline physically changed. PHIVOLCS documented coastal uplift where sections of the seabed rose by about 2 meters. As a result, the shoreline moved seaward by roughly 200 meters, exposing coral reefs and seabed areas that had previously been underwater. This is one of the clearest demonstrations of how powerful subduction earthquakes can reshape the landscape itself. While the Sarangani earthquake was smaller than the giant magnitude 9 earthquakes that struck Indonesia in 2004 and Japan in 2011, it serves as a reminder that the Philippines sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire and remains vulnerable to major megathrust earthquakes capable of generating tsunamis and permanent changes to coastlines. So which type is the deadliest? Globally, the deadliest earthquakes are usually megathrust earthquakes, not necessarily because of the shaking itself, but because of the tsunamis they generate. The 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake killed approximately 230,000 people across multiple countries. The 2011 Japan earthquake caused around 20,000 deaths, many of them from the tsunami that followed. But there is another category that deserves attention: large strike-slip earthquakes beneath major cities. These may not create tsunamis, but they can kill thousands by causing buildings to collapse directly where people live and work. The recent Turkey-Syria earthquakes demonstrated how devastating this type of earthquake can be when it strikes densely populated urban areas. What type of earthquake can occur on the Marikina Valley Fault? The Marikina Valley Fault System consists mainly of two fault segments, the West Valley Fault and the East Valley Fault. These faults are classified as right lateral strike-slip faults. In simple terms, the ground on either side moves horizontally in opposite directions. This means the fault is similar in behavior to California's San Andreas Fault. Because it is not a subduction zone, it is not expected to generate a giant ocean-wide tsunami. Why is the West Valley Fault so feared? According to Philippine earthquake planners, the West Valley Fault is capable of generating an earthquake of approximately magnitude 7.2. This scenario is commonly referred to as the Big One. What makes it particularly dangerous is its location. The fault passes through or near highly populated areas including parts of Quezon City, Marikina, Pasig, Makati, Taguig, Muntinlupa. Millions of people live and work within the potential impact zone. Unlike a distant offshore earthquake, this fault could rupture directly beneath Metro Manila. The result would be intense ground shaking, widespread structural damage, infrastructure failures, utility disruptions, and potentially large urban fires. Emergency planning scenarios have projected tens of thousands of possible fatalities and hundreds of thousands of damaged homes if a major rupture occurs under unfavorable conditions. Ranking earthquakes by potential loss of life. Number 1. Megathrust or subduction earthquakes due to their ability to generate massive tsunamis. Number 2. Major urban strike-slip earthquakes because they strike directly beneath dense population centers. Number 3. Reverse or thrust fault earthquakes, especially in mountainous regions prone to landslides. Number 4. Normal fault earthquakes, which are generally less catastrophic on a regional scale. Final thoughts. The largest possible earthquake is not always the most dangerous. A magnitude 9 earthquake in the open ocean may affect fewer people than a magnitude 7.2 earthquake occurring directly beneath a major city. That is why disaster experts in the Philippines are particularly concerned about the West Valley Fault. Not because it can produce the strongest earthquake in the country, but because it sits beneath one of the most densely populated urban areas in Southeast Asia. The real threat isn't just the earthquake itself, it's where it happens. And for Metro Manila, that's what makes the Big One such a serious concern.